त्वमादिदेवः पुरुषा पुराणः त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परम निधानम वेत्तासि वेद्यम च परम च धाम त्वया ततं विश्वमनन्तरु वायु यमः अग्निवर्णः शशाङ्कः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रपितामहस्य नमो नमस्तेस्तु सहस्रकृत्वा पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते. You are primeval God, the primordial spirit. You are the ultimate shelter of universe. You are knower, the noble and supreme abode. The universe is fully pervaded by you, being of infinite forms. You are the God of wind, God of death, and God of fire and water, the moon god and the great grandfathers of beings. Salutation to you. We salute thousands of times and again and again. Now, last session, I have described many Indian commentators on Bhagwadgita, and here are some names of Western philosophers and scientists who are attracted knowledge of Gita from 17th century. This is very important fact, and this means Bhagavad Gita is not for Indian men, but it is welfare for whole humanity and all the world. So I want to tell about some Western philosophers and scientists' name and commentators of Bhagavad Gita and who were attracted in Bhagavad Gita knowledge. The first name, Mr. August Wilhelm Schlegel, and in 1823 he was a German poet and philosopher and critic, and translated Shakespeare's work. Shakespeare was a great poet of Western culture, and in German languages he established a printing press and published Gita and Ramayana, and he engaged education of Sanskrit language in Germany. He was a philosopher of Germany, and he has also established a press to spread the Bhagavad Gita knowledge and Ramayana knowledge in 1823. Next name of the series, Mr. Charles Wilkins from United Kingdom, in 1785, and he was great person, and he translated Bhagavad Gita in English in 1785. He was the member of Asiatic Society. He worked in East India Company as a printer and writer. So Mr. Charles Wilkins, and he translated the Bhagavad Gita in English. Next name, important name, Mr. J.C. Thompson, John Charles Thompson, 1856, and he was belonging to New Zealand. He was writer of influential Bhagwadgita. He was appointed Justice of Peace in 1896 and he was a mayor of Riverdam in 1903. And he also attracted to Bhagavad-Gita knowledge. Next name, Yusun Bennoff, and he was born in 1801 and died in 1852, was a French scholar and Indologist and Orientalist. He studied Sanskrit books and literature, translated Bhagavad Gita and also Buddhism books, and professor of Sanskrit language in College of France in 1832 to 1852. This means he worked 20 years. Mr. Yusun Bennoff was the Sanskrit scholar. Mr. Edwin Arnault, he was born in 1832 and died in 1904 and was an English poet and journalist in United Kingdom. He translated Bhagavad Gita in English as audio. 15th century available. He was professor of Deccan College, Pune in 1856 till 7 years. Mr. Sir Edwin Arnault was attracted towards the Bhagavad Gita knowledge and he translated Bhagavad Gita wholly in his own language in English. His audio tape is also present on Wikipedia and also on Google. You can hear. Next name, William Quan Judge. He was born in 1851 and died in 1896. Was a founder of Theosophical Society and born in Dublin, Ireland and died in New York, US. He was mystic, historist and occultist. रहस्यवादी, गूढ़वादी और गुप्तवादी थे वे. He was the founder of Theosophical Society. Next name, Alfred Bernard, was born in 1871 and died in 1960. Was an English Orientalist, the son of Liverpool banker. He was educated in the City of College, Liverpool and Trinity College, Cambridge. He wrote a book on Bhagavad Gita, The Lord's Song, in 1905. He wrote many books. Alfred Bernard was a great writer. Mrs. Annie Basant, he was born in 1947 and died in 1933, was a British socialist, women's rights activist, writer and orator. She worked for human freedom. He was icon of India. Her book on karma, yoga, Hatha Yoga and Raj Yoga, based on Bhagavad Gita doctrine. He translated Gita in English with the help of Bhagwan Das, with word for word translation in 1905. And Richard Gorbay was born in 1876 and died in 1957 in London, UK. Was a British sculptor, Murtikar. He was known fine art. He translated Bhagwadgita in German language in many, and he has published by a publication by name of Dai Bhagwadgita. Next name, Paul Dusan. He was died in 1845 he was born in 1845 and died in 1919. Was born in Germany and well knower of Indian culture. He was a professor of philosophy in Kiel University. He was highly educated by Arthur Schopenhauer. He was friend of Friedrich Nietzsche and also Swami Vivekananda. He established Schopenhauer Society in 1911. He wrote many books. Some books are here. Philosophy of Upanishad, System of Vedant, Upanishad Tattva Gyan. This means Mr. Paul Dusan was interested in Bhagavad Gita and also the scripture of Indian philosophy. Mr. Emil Arnault, he was born in 1947 and died in 1928, was a French Indologist. He always secret in French and Buddhism. He owned him several translations in French and Buddhism books and many Upanishads. He was a professor of College of France. Bhagavad Gita in French edition, a large book of Gita knowledge. He worked for the Bhagavad Gita knowledge spreading. There are some names of Western philosophers I have described. Beyond of these names, many other Western philosophers